All right. Good afternoon. Well, good evening. Good evening, Facebook.
Yes, good evening.
Looks like my son was trying to send me a video while the video was up. But anyway, thank God I delete stuff. But today we have a special guest. Her name is Vanessa Miller. She is one of the top